I know that the last few months have been incredibly tough, and this exhausting you're feeling, it's just overwhelming. So I want to walk you through exactly what's been happening inside your body. I want to explain why you've been feeling so completely and utterly drained. To really get our heads around this, let's start with a simple but pretty powerful question. Just imagine for a second, what if the tiny power plants that fuel every single one of your trillions of cells just started to shut down? And that question leads us directly to what you've been living with every single day. We can call it a constant energy drain. And, this isn't just about feeling tired. It's a deep physical lack of power that touches everything you do. Which brings us to the big question, the one you've probably been asking yourself over and over. It goes way beyond just being overworked. Why do you feel so profoundly, so fundamentally tired? Well, the answer is hiding at the very core of how your body makes energy. When we look at all the symptoms you're facing, this really deep muscle weakness, those frightening neurological episodes, the acid buildup in your system, these aren't just random events. They're all connected. They're all signs pointing to one specific condition called Malas syndrome. And that's a type of mitochondrial disease, which is really just a way of saying there's a problem with those tiny power plants inside your cells. So to really understand why this is happening, we need to take a quick step back and just look at how your body is supposed to work when everything is running in perfect balance. It's this beautifully complex, self-regulating system. And at the heart of that healthy system is this idea called homeostasis. The best way to think about it is like your body's internal autopilot. It's constantly making all these tiny little adjustments to keep everything, your temperature, your blood sugar, your energy, just right. Nice and stable, no matter what's going on around you. So when your body is in homeostasis, everything's good. It's stable, it's healthy, you have the energy you need. But when that balance gets thrown off, and we call that a homeostatic imbalance, that's when illness happens. And in your case, it leads directly to this profound fatigue. Your body is just struggling to keep itself stable. All right, now we're going to zoom in, way, way in. We're going to go from your body as a whole right down to the microscopic level, deep inside your individual cells, to find the real source of this energy problem. So, inside almost every single one of your cells, you've got thousands of these tiny little structures called mitochondria. You've probably heard them called the powerhouses of the cell, and that's exactly what they are. They are the little engines that generate nearly all the energy your body needs to run. Now, these powerhouses produce a very specific molecule called ATP. The easiest way to think of ATP is like energy cash. It's the currency that your body uses to pay for literally everything, from your muscles moving to your brain thinking to your cells repairing themselves. If you don't have enough ATP, you just don't have enough power. Creating this ATP fuel is basically a 4-stage assembly line. As you can see, the first 3 stages are all about breaking down your food and prepping the fuel. But it's that final stage, oxidative phosphorylation, that's where the vast majority of your energy is actually made. So let's focus on that final stage because it's absolutely the most critical part of this whole story. This is where your body gets the biggest bang for its buck, turning the food you eat into huge amounts of that usable ATP fuel. So inside the mitochondria, you've got this amazing assembly line made of proteins. It's called the electron transport chain. It takes these high-energy little particles, electrons, from your food, and it uses their energy to do one very specific job. It pumps other tiny particles called protons across a membrane from one side to the other. And as all these protons get pumped over to one side, they build up this incredible pressure and potential energy. You can picture it exactly like water building up behind a huge hydroelectric dam. It's just storing a massive amount of power, waiting to be used. So what does the body do with all that stored up energy? Well, it opens a gate in the dam. This gate is a special protein called ATP synthase. And as soon as that gate opens, the protons, driven by all that pressure, just come rushing back through. And this is the truly amazing part. That powerful flow of protons makes the ATP synthase proteins spin around, just like water spinning a turbine in a dam. And as it spins, this tiny molecular machine literally cranks out ATP molecules, one after another. It is an incredible engine of life. Okay, so now we come to your situation. In your case, this really elegant and powerful energy system has a specific fault. The problem isn't with the whole thing, but with one particular part of the engine, right at the very start of that assembly line. A genetic mutation is affecting the very first protein in the chain, a part called complex I. In a healthy system, this is like the main entrance for those high-energy electrons. But in your cells, that entrance is partially blocked. This creates a bottleneck that drastically reduces how many protons get pumped across, which means that dam of energy never gets built up properly. And the impact of that one little fault is just massive. You can see it right here on this chart. A healthy cell can generate about 30 units of that ATP fuel from a single molecule of sugar. But because that main assembly line is broken, your cells are stuck using a really inefficient backup plan. They're only making about 2 units of ATP. It's a true energy crisis. And so now we can finally connect what's happening on this microscopic level directly to the very real and debilitating symptoms that you feel every single day. The connection is absolutely direct. Your muscles feel so weak because they literally do not have the ATP fuel they need to contract. Your brain, which is the most energy-hungry organ in your whole body, is being starved of the power it needs to work right. And that's what's leading to the neurological issues. And that lactic acid buildup, well, that's just a side effect of your cells desperately trying to use that inefficient backup plan to make some energy. So the most important thing I want you to take away from this is that what you are feeling is real. It is physical. It is not in your head. The overwhelming fatigue you feel is a direct, measurable result of this energy crisis that's happening deep inside your cells. This understanding is our starting point. It gives us a really clear picture of the problem, and it lets us shift our focus to the most important question of all, the one we're going to tackle together. Knowing that the engine has this flaw, how do we support your entire system to make the absolute most of the limited energy it can still produce? That is our path forward.